They say I'm crazy. Actually, they say a lot of things about me behind my back when they think I'm not listening. Shows what they know. I'm always listening. They say I'm depressed, anxious, a homebody, a loner, or just a cranky jerk. They didn't say that about me before, but now they do. It all started when I went to a small plant shop and bought a simple, skinny 7-foot-tall dogwood tree. It was a normal-looking tree by all accounts, with white flowers that weren't pretty, but weren't ugly either, and a few blood-red berries about the size of peas growing on only one branch. Not a lot, as it was small at the time. I planted the tree in my backyard as a tribute to my late wife, who had died earlier that year. She always wanted a dogwood tree when she was alive, but one fateful day, her long-standing illness took her, sooner than we both expected. It took forever to dig the hole. I never knew how many rocks were in my yard until I started digging. You'd think I'd have remembered that, since I needed to dig holes in my yard before for making a fence, but, of course, wouldn't you know, the spot I picked for the tree had the most rocks on it. Once dirt was packed around it, I took a step back. It was a rather plain thing for all the work it took, but for my wife's memory, it was worth it. When she'd been alive, planting the tree for her was the furthest thing from my mind. But now that she was gone, it felt like the least I could do after all we'd been through together. My late wife and I fought over a lot of things that seem stupid now. She always wanted a dog. I didn't, as I hate things that crap in yards. She always wanted to go to the movies. I didn't, as there is always something for free on TV, like SportsCenter. She always wanted me to wipe my feet when I came in, as she was such a clean freak. I just didn't. It was my house, after all. So what if it's dirty? Deal with it. She wanted me to get rid of all my old junk. I didn't. What's the worst that could happen if I kept my old stuff? She always wanted a garden in the backyard, and well, you get the idea. Whenever my late wife got mad at me, which had been more frequent during the last year of her life, she would scrunch up her face, showing off all her wrinkles. It reminded me of one of those Chinese Shar-Pei dogs. I'd have to bite my lip hard not to laugh when she did that, or from blurting out she didn't need a dog. She already looked like one. It would always end with her stamping her foot and waving her fist in the air, like a spoiled brat. I used to hate it when she would throw tantrums, but now, looking back on it, I see she was pretty funny when she was mad. The last fight we had, right before she died, had been the worst. I realized too late that I'd overreacted. I don't remember exactly what I said to make her so mad, but it must have been something bad to make her so angry she couldn't concentrate on the car accident that took her life. I always thought her illness would do her in the end, the one she spent her whole life fighting, but it ended up being a car crash instead. The really sad thing is, I don't remember what that last fight was about. The second to last thing I do remember fighting with her about was getting a dogwood tree, but that was weeks or maybe even a month ago. I think. My mind isn't what it used to be. So I thought, why not? It's just a little tree. What harm could it do? But it turned out to be the biggest mistake of my life. The first thing it did to piss me off was grow like a weed. In no time, its stupid, pointy roots stuck out of the dirt, all over my yard like an octopus stretching its tentacles over its prey. Its roots grew and looked alive, as if they had a mind of their own, just like something out of a damn nature documentary, the kind that they force you to watch at school. Those damn roots would cause bumps in the lawn. They would even get stuck in the lawnmower. That was a chore I hated to do anyway, mowing. But those stupid roots made it even worse. When I wasn't cleaning splinters out of the lawnmower, I was buying new blades for it. Those damn freaking roots forced me to wear shoes in my own backyard, which was something I'd never needed to do before I got that damn tree. If I wore sandals, those damn roots would poke right through them like a dagger through butter. Whenever I'd step on those bastard roots, I would let loose with my sailor talk, which is what I always do when I get hurt by accident. It's a guy thing. Wouldn't you know my luck? My neighbor's kids would always be right there when it happened. Those damn kids would overhear me and run to their moms and say, "Mommy, guess what that man just said?" Then I would get dirty looks from parents, who were never that far behind from their little brats, glaring at me with those judging eyes. As if it was my bloody fault I stepped on a freaking root in my own backyard. Even if it was my goddamn backyard anyway. So, I should be able to say whatever the Sam Hill I want. If I drop a meat cleaver on my big toe, it's my God-given right to swear to high heaven and hell. That's what being an American is all about. Give me truth, justice, liberty, and the right to swear freely. But did I ever get any sympathy? I was the one with bruised, banged-up feet. Sometimes they were more than bruised. They might even be bleeding. But even then, did I get sympathy? No, of course not. God, I hated my neighbors. As if my damn neighbors weren't enough to put up with, I also had those damn leaves all over my lawn. So I had to rake my yard every single freaking day. I tried shaking the damn tree so those bloody leaves would all fall down for good and I'd only have to rake once. But no matter how hard I shook that tree, none of the leaves came down. It was like they were super glued on or something. I even tried throwing rocks at the tree branches just to get the leaves down, but I have terrible aim and I kept hitting my car windows. You know, the only thing worse than stepping on animal crap is stepping on broken glass in your driveway when you go to pick up the paper. Part of me felt like my late wife was somehow part of this. As if, somehow, beyond the grave, she'd gotten the leaves to stay on the trees as long as possible just to piss me off. I know that sounds crazy, but she knew how much I hated raking. That was the whole reason I didn't want a damn dogwood tree in my backyard in the first place. But of all the things I hated about that damn tree, those awful blood-red berries were the worst. They grow right next to such white flowers that only makes them look brighter and redder. They just looked creepy, like little drops of blood from a nosebleed or a head wound. People say blood isn't really bright red, it's more of a dark brown. It's true. Blood only looks bright red when it's next to something pale, like those damn white as ghost flowers, or skin wearing a white dress. My wife loved that damn white dress. Wore it all the time. She had it on the day she died. Not sure if I told anyone that before. They were the kind of berries that are poisonous for humans to eat. However, that didn't stop every damn bird and squirrel in my neighborhood to come and feast on them, as apparently they're not poisonous to vermin. Do you know what happens when you've got loads and loads of squirrels and birds in your backyard? You get cats. Stray, mangy cats. Do you know what happens when you get stray, mangy cats in your backyard? You get stray, mangy dogs, too. If that wasn't bad enough, when you get stray, mangy dogs in your yard, you get a bunch of crap all over your lawn. As if I wasn't having enough fun stepping on roots and occasionally broken glass. Then I got to step in something warm and smelly. That's a great way to start the morning. But, of course, when you have stray cats and dogs hanging around your yard, the other neighbors' dogs and cats come to make friends. So I got even more crap from them. Whenever I complained to my neighbors, they would just laugh it off and say, "You should be thankful for the free fertilizer they're giving you." That was easy for them to say. It wasn't on their lawn. They all would have thought differently if I'd gone in their yard, pulled my pants down, and let them have a big surprise on their front porch. I was 2 beers away from having the guts to do it. But I didn't feel like going to the store to pick up another 6-pack. Not one stinking animal was the least bit scared of me. Every time I yelled, "Get the hell off my lawn, you spawns of Satan," they all just looked at me for a second, then would go back to their business of crapping on my yard. People say deer and dogs are incapable of laughing, but I knew they were all thinking about it. You can just see it in their mangy eyes. I hate animals, but I'll be the first to admit they're a lot smarter than we give them credit for. My late wife was a lot smarter than I gave her credit for, too. It wouldn't surprise me if she was somehow a part of this. Now, this will sound crazy, but I felt all this crap, both literally and figuratively, that was happening from the roots hurting my feet, the berries, the animals, and especially the crap, was all somehow my late wife's fault. As if somehow she was controlling these events through the tree she'd wanted so much. I know when you're dead you can't control things. I know that. I really do. But then again, I also know my late wife could be so madly controlling it would drive you insane. Just like this tree was driving me insane. She'd always find a way to get her way. So it made sense this tree was finding a way to do everything it wanted, whether I liked it or not.